The Hag Endelin Moongrave lies still on the step slash seat of the amphitheater. The last remaining Darklings have fled or surrendered, and the surviving Chorids and Briganox uh, have begun to see to their wounded and round up those enemies that still remain. The crew and actors, a wide variety of peoples hailing from all over, of every shape and size and everything, stand in awe around the edge of the stage, looking at all of you. Hurley is there. The um, the Selenelian twins, Gleam and Glister, are leaning on each other for support. Gleam slowly but surely begins to look stronger and stronger very quickly as uh, while the tears to their costumes remain, the presence of each other seems to instill with them a an almost celestial energy that knits their wounds closed. The lightning storm above you has settled to a very a very faint storm. The thunder very distant, only cracks uh, at about half the rate that it was, and the lightning no longer dances across the skies of Yon. It instead simply every once in a while, without even streaking to the ground, simply lights the sky and the dark clouds with a flash of yellowish light. Hemlock, the while the images of what you have seen, uh, while you have fought through it, the images still haunt, and worse yet, even with Endelin dead by your hand, the murmur of a crowd, the sound of occasional applause or laughter still clings to the back of your consciousness, just on the edge of your hearing, always present, but never able to truly be focused on.
When he returns to form, he's just silently, kind of just stoically letting tears just kind of fall down, just very overwhelmed.
Gleam and Glister and many of the others crowd around all of you, and um, uh, Gleam, or rather Glister, since she is in far better shape than her sister, says, "So, what now? many of us would still like to return. I I believe that we we know how to do that. We will need the beacons, but what will you all do now?
We need to go to the palace.
Probably sleep first. But
I
yeah, getting to the palace is important, I think.
I'm sorry, everyone. I need to go. And he'll just start walking towards the library.
Emlock.
Looks like we're going to the library, guys.
Yes, I guess we are.
Uh, as you ascend the long stairway into the library, the trio of darklings that you had seen seated and reading are all still there, but they are no longer seated. As
Ted, just
you,
point of order.
Yep.
I'm taking Endelin's body with me.
okay, it is heavy and awkward, but you certainly have the strength
Mhm.
to carry her. No longer seated, the three individuals in front of you have all stood up and are facing you, and you can see as you walk through that each of them uh, bears a distinct talisman around their neck, um, with a different sigil on it, uh, previously hidden within their cloaks and behind the books that they were reading. And when you walk through, they do nod their heads in greeting. And the tallest of the three, whose amulet resembles a crescent moon above a wave of blue water, steps forward just a few steps in front of the other two and says, "Endlin warned us, or rather told us, how she expected this to end. I can see," and they look squarely at you, Banner, with Endelin's body over your shoulder. It seems her prediction was correct. Originally, she had bade us to burn this place should she fall, should her prediction come true. We thought perhaps if it would earn your favor that we would, well, with her dead, our bargain is broken.
Do whatever you want with it. I need to find my sister.
They look at you with clear confusion. The elf Glister was the only prisoner.
Something taken, then. Something taken from my sister.
Ah, I can tell you that Endelin's private chambers was the second floor of the tower. None were allowed to go up there if there is any such thing here.
I give a very sharp nod and move very quickly past them. My bat fluttering behind me.
the familiar stone staircase that you all took to the first level of the tower to find. I am missing somebody. I grabbed the bat. Nope, I just put somebody in a wall. Whoop, whoop. Yep, there you go. The stone stairway goes up another 20 feet, spiraling up through the mountain of Motherhorn, and exits out onto uh, a walkway surrounding the orrery below. The lightning has stopped the. Did I really grab Charmaine instead of one of you? Fuck, I did. I left Darlin behind. I'm sorry.
So funny.
All right, guys. I guess I'll see you later.
The hallway opens out onto a walkway, and looking down, you can see that the orrery has stopped moving. There are no longer the runes have ceased their glow, and there are no longer puffs of smoke drifting letters up through this area. You can see the copper spire that forms the center of the contraption still continues up through the center of this level and into the ceiling above you. The balcony here has a stone railing with balusters shaped like hourglasses. And other than the hallway at the eastern side and a double door at the western side, there is nothing in this particular area save for the uh, the shattered remains of a few empty ink bottles, um, a few black books similar to the ones you have seen in the library are discarded on the ground, their spines ripped into. There is one resting on the edge of the railing where you saw Endelyn when she spoke to you the first time.
I walk past it.
Uh, the hallway that you are in ends in a dead end. The exterior wall there, well, not dead end because there are doors to the north and south. They are all the familiar doors that you have seen before, with the iron banding and the door handles shaped like the drama masks, the comedy and tragedy masks.
Arlen's gonna go up and try to tickle this door. When it does nothing, he just like, oh, okay. I guess this is one of those.
Are you just pushing through the door, or?
Yeah, I'll just
Okay.
open the door then.
The room beyond is it rests 40 feet above the amphitheater. This is the room where Endelyn was perched when you all were fighting her. Back from the edge is a wooden ornithopter, a large. I have a handout for this.
Hey, Hemlock, I think I've got a way for you to fly. I don't know if you can make it work though. It looks complicated.
Okay. We'll have to instead put it into Discord. Why, Discord, do you try to paste everything twice these days?
Right?
A large contraption full of gears um, and wooden struts and strings of corrid hair. Uh, it is roughly 8 foot long. The wings nearly twice that. It does look like maybe it collapses a little bit, but it is still a rather large contraption.
I don't know
Um,
how easy it'd be to carry it around.
in a minute, and I'll go through this door.
Um, this room is split just like the viewing pad uh, where Endelin was perched before. Um, the western wall is filled. It is a bookshelf filled with bottles of crackling lightning. The door to the east is broken by an open archway that looks out over the amphitheater, as well as did the other one. Um, and perched in front of the bookshelf, a large writing desk. But what immediately catches your attention are three large bird cages. Um, you have seen similar cages when you have visited the other, air quotes on visited there, visited the other
Invaded.
sisters' homes. And resting in each of these cages is not a bird of clockwork like you saw in Scabatha's, or a strange undead amalgam of bits like Bavlorna. Instead, there are simply very elegantly folded pieces of paper, shaped like birds, with a very flowing script written haphazardly and certainly illegibly while the bird is folded. They sit calmly, and I'm going to uh hmm, is there dynamic light down here? Kind of. I'm just going to do this, and then I am going to very briefly come to the token layer. I'm going to select the 5 of you, 4 of you. Who am I missing? No one. Arlen's down there. I'm missing. I'm missing Charme. Uh, there we go. You should. Nope. Yeah, you should all be able to see down here in the corner of the map a folded paper bird. The birds tilt their head, animated as if they were alive. And although they move their beak and their head, there is no sound other than the rustling of paper pages. On the desk, there is a stack of parchment uh, held down to the desk, resisting the wind of Yon that comes pouring through the arch by a large stone paperweight shaped like a toad. There are a number of ink pots and quills resting on the desk, as well as several sheets of paper which are scattered across the desk and held down either by quills or by ink pots.
Um, I drop my book onto the desk, and just cast detect magic.
The The birds themselves are magical. Obviously, they are animated. But oddly enough, there is no other magic here. The bottles of lightning, which do crackle with electricity, are strangely mundane.
Not finding what I'm looking for, I grab my book and walk out.
Arlen, you are the only one to notice, since your passive perception is high enough. The roof of this room, the floorboard, or the not the floorboards, the ceiling boards, no, the roof struts, the rafters, that's the word I'm looking for. There are boards laid across the ceiling rafters in this room, but they are not a true proper ceiling. It looks as though someone tried to um, seal up something essentially by just putting wooden boards across the rafters and just blocking it from view. But you can hear a faint creaking, I guess, of rope, like the sound of rope straining under a heavy weight. Um, you can also feel a breeze coming through the boards, indicating there is something beyond.
Um, guys, I might be grasping, but I think there might be a false roof up there with a little extra space. Um, hey Banner, you want to hop on the lily pad and float up there and rip one of those boards off?
Uh, I will. I will rip a board off, but I don't believe I need the lily pad. And I'll start walking up a wall.
Oh yeah, fancy shoes.
Yes, they're very fashionable and very practical.
You walk up the wall and move one of the boards aside, and it's a little tougher than it seems at first because there is, in fact, a great weight resting on them. A an enormous silver bell, um, tied to a very long rope that uh, would dangle partway through the where the rafters are now, were it to be extended fully. There is uh, the other end of the rope, essentially, which is tied to the yoke that would turn, is tied to a hook in the wall to keep taut, but blows in the wind a little bit. Um, that is coming through the large belfry windows that are above you. You can see out over uh, over the land of Yon, stretching out uh, below you. But given that you can also go out onto the balcony, it's not much of a difference. There is something written, or rather etched into the bell's surface, but I believe it is in a language that you do not speak.
Yeah, it's not likely that I speak it. Um, it there appears to be a bell up here with some writing. Would someone else like to take a look?
I'll hop on the lily pad and float up.
I believe you speak Elvish.
I speak Sylvan.
Unfortunately, then, it is in a language you also do not speak.
Would I recognize it as Elven?
I mean, they share a similar script, but basically the letters are all out of order.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Court Hemlock. Do either of you speak Elvish?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
Hemlock
There's.
is not in this room.
You all look around to realize that Hemlock has left, is gone. I'm assuming, Hemlock, that you are pushing through those doors.
Yeah.
Belfry people continue.
Well, I mean, I can do like a ritual that would take me a long time, and learn a spell that I could cast. But like, where'd Hemlock go? We probably shouldn't get too
Yes,
split up.
we should probably find Hemlock. It is
Yeah.
no reason to believe that it is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta hand up this. Aha! Hemlock, you push through the doors. There is
No, thank you. Bye, everybody.
an audible crack as the doors open, and then a very loud a very loud clanging noise as an alarm goes off. But no one's coming to answer that alarm, so you really just don't care. The room is lined with scores of wooden marionettes hanging from the ceiling of this room. The floor is strewn with crumpled up and discarded papers, all of which contain the same flowing Elvish script in black ink. Near the entrance to the room or near the entrance to the main part of the room, there are two alcoves. One has simply a bare table. The other has a wooden chest with tiny clawed feet, very similar to ones that you have seen in other hag homes. Deeper into the room, there is a wicker basket. There are a number of miniature toy birds in various positions around it. The
Does
two, sorry, there are two truly standout features. As weird as everything as I have described is, at the end of the hall, there is very little furniture here. There is no bed. There is no dresser. There is no mirror or anything like that. But there is a large glass doored wardrobe directly across from you. A large jade eye embedded in the cornice stands just staring at you practically. But weirder even than that, and certainly by far the most noticeable feature of this room, fixed to the walls are hundreds and hundreds of hourglasses. All shapes, all sizes, all materials. Some have sand that is colored, others have sand that, as it pours, the colored sands fall into layers that form a picture. And whenever any of these hourglasses fills, when the last grain of sand has dropped out of the top half of the hourglass and found its final resting spot in the bottom, after a few seconds, there is a hiss of steam. And some mechanism behind each of these hourglasses causes it to flip. And once again, the sand begins to run from top to bottom. In some, plain sand, in others, bright colors, in others, strange pictures that change top to bottom.
I stare at this jade eye and stomp my hoof, and I will cast Thaumaturgy to try to throw the wardrobe doors open.
The doors slam open. You stomp your hoof, and all of you can hear this. The echoing sound of Hemlock's hoof on stone. At the same time, the doors fly open. All of the marionettes hanging above you come to life. And they all just begin to scream
Ooh.
over and over the word intruder. Some of them never quite make an intelligible word, they simply scream. And with no need to actually draw breath, the sound is unending and practically deafening.
I cast Shatter in this room at 4th level. I don't know if you want me to actually
No.
populate that, but
No.
I want everything in here broken, thank you.
The rest of you, from as you are, I'm assuming you all are heading out to, as you said, find Hemlock. And as you are making your way around the orrery, you hear the clop clop of the hoof. You hear a loud bang as the wardrobe's doors are thrown open. There is a lot of screaming, and then just a loud clap, and all, or at the very least, most of the screaming comes to an end as splinters of wood and other materials fall to the ground as a large chunk of the marionettes are destroyed. The doors of the wardrobe fly open, and at the bottom of the wardrobe, now that the doors are open, you can see at the back a very large mirror hanging at the back of the wardrobe above a very large drawer that runs the entire width of this piece of furniture. Excuse me. Um, Other than the mirror, however, there is nothing in the wardrobe. Well, nothing in the large main part. The drawer is still closed.
I'll get closer to it and see if my reflection changes. Or if I have a reflection.
As you have seen in previous mirrors, in previous hag homes, at first you are staring at your own reflection. Certainly disheveled and more than a little, not really battered, but definitely haggard from the experience uh, on the stage. But after a moment, as you watch, the image changes, and you find yourself staring, perhaps even a little longingly, at the Hall of Mirrors in the Witchlight Carnival. What world it is on now, who can say? The individuals that you see, there are a number of perhaps the filthiest gnomes that you have ever seen, in uh, their clothing in practically scraps, their beards full of uh, bits of leaf and twig and other detritus. There are a number of humans walking behind them, laughing as they see themselves reflected in the strange mirrors of the Hall of Illusions, finding themselves taller or shorter, thinner or larger, older or younger.
I'll check the drawer.
When you place your hand on the drawer, the chatter in your mind becomes the sound of clapping, an almost roar, practically a a full, perhaps standing ovation. The sound practically not reflecting, reverberating off the inside of your head. And pulling the drawer open, you find two items. It is easy to think the first is a stiletto of some sort, but uh, looking at it, you realize that the tip is dull and it is not made of metal. It is bone. The other, much like the objects hanging on the walls surrounding this room, a small hourglass worked in gold filigree into an amulet roughly the size of I'm going to have to go real world here, roughly the size of a small coaster. uh, the hourglass itself is gold. It is golden wire. The glass is clear with brilliant blue sand inside that is not flowing at all, as the amulet is resting flat, and so the hourglass is on its side.
I pick that one up and let the sands begin to fall.
You pick it up. The sound of clapping in your mind slowly fades, and with a moment's slow dawning, almost horror, the sound in your mind turns into the angry boos of a livid crowd.
I I pick up the knife and inspect it.
Um, Not quite a knife, as it turns out. There is no edge. The tip is dulled. But as you run your finger up and down the length of what is clearly now a wand, at the very end, almost invisible to the eyes, but certainly able to be felt, tiny hooks pushing backwards against the tip, forming almost barbs at the very end. A mortician's tool, an embalmer's tool. The moment you pick it up and feel the hook and catch just the tip of one finger, just enough to just barely break the skin and draw just a single tiny little drop of blood. The sounds in your mind finally fall silent.
I just sit on the ground and hold these things for a while.
Edit this to your journal. And I think that should pop it up only for you, but
Yeah,
wait,
that
did I
looked like
put
that
the
worked.
others in everybody's journal? I don't remember. I did. Okay, let me pop this up for everybody. I closed the wrong one because I'm good at this game. There we go. When you attune to this, please, if you would like to, feel free to swap out. I know you have Summon Undead. I have not found a good way to get you the material component to use Summon Undead.
This is cool.
The rest of you find Hemlock seated on the floor of this room with papers strewn about, cradling these two objects in his hands. The eye on the wardrobe has come open, but where the iris should be is simply pure silver. The shattered bits of various marionettes litter the floor. Some bits still hang from the ceiling, but no puppet remains intact.
Hemlock?
Yes.
So did you find what you are looking for?
I found the way back to the carnival for Gleam and Glister and anyone else who wishes to go.
Hmm. Uh, it is wonderful, but it does not sound like what you were ultimately searching for.
I found that too. I just don't know how to get it back to where it needs to be.
Yeah. We will figure that out together. And I extend a hand to help him up.
He'll place the wand at his belt and remain holding the hourglass and take a hand. Should we should see about taking some of those bottles of lightning.
Hmm.
Useful.
Sounds like an excellent idea. Also, we found a bell with some strange script on it. I do not know what it is. Perhaps you much more bookish than I am. Perhaps you might know what it is. Would you like to take a look?
Could try. For all my studies, the languages I have been imparted with were esoteric and limited in their use, should we say.
Hmm. Alan, God, do either of you know what language that was? Was it a language or was it just decoration?
I'm pretty sure it was Elvish. I recognize the script, but I
Hmm.
learned Sylvan from my parents. Um,
Oh,
I could, I mean, if we've got like a little time to spare, I can, do a little ritual and
Do
learn
you think
how to
maybe?
speak that language.
Do you think maybe Gleam or Glister might know?
Oh, that's a good point. They're elves.
I'll send a message to Gleam. We found something that has some Elvish script on it, and also the way back to the carnival, if you'll come upstairs.
On our way. And within moments, Gleam and Glister both arrive. Once again, arm locked in arm. What is it you need us to read?
Arlen? Court?
Um, back this way, right?
Yeah, up to the bell tower. There's a bell with some Elvish written on it.
Let's go.
With an acrobatic flourish, they bounce from the table to the bookshelf up into the belfry and spy the silver bell. And Gleam says, it's very old. It says, toll the bell within the spire to journey to your heart's desire. We want to say thank you. If it were not for all of you, Gleam and Glister and I would be separated, and everyone here would still be stuck. We have spoken to many of the workers and actors here. We think the best way to get everyone home is the beacons. Although I understand if your path takes you another way.
This might actually take us exactly where we need to go. Beacons may very well take you wherever it is that you wish, but just down that way, and he'll point. There is a way to the Hall of Mirrors in the carnival. Those of you who say home is with them.
Both of the sisters' faces light up momentarily before a more, not necessarily somber, but determined look settles in, and they nod at each other. Perhaps that is the fastest way for us, but given everything that's happened, Amador has agreed to lead us to the beacons if your journey takes you elsewhere. That way we can return not just ourselves, but everyone. Good luck with everything, and Court, Arlen, be safe. We would
I'm
very
hugging them.
much.
I'm hugging them.
Ugh, okay, still hurting, but we would very much like to see you both, all of you, really, back at the carnival.
Of course. We'll be there. Oh.
Ringing the bell. Going to go to the beacons.
Where's Charmé, or the bat that's Charmé?
That's a very good question. I realized after you all walked off that the bat was still there and would have turned back after a moment. Charme at this point has been captured and has been Gleam and Glister inform you that she has been tied up by the Corets using their
Fantastic.
iron hair. You are free to speak to, question, do.
Yes, I would very much like to. If you don't mind, perhaps a conversation with Charme. I believe we still have some unfinished business here in Yon that, with a little bit of luck, Charme might be able to help us with.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to grab one of these bottles of lightning.
Okay.
If I can.
They
Okay.
are glass bottles, roughly about the size of like a beer bottle, with a metal and rubber lid. I don't know if you guys have seen those kinds of beer bottles because they don't really make them very much anymore. But the pop tops.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I am able to pick up one, so I
Yeah.
pick up several.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll grab some because Hemlock told me we should.
Yes, same.
Yeah, I mean, why not? How many explosives do we get?
Let me see. We have
My mind, one of two things is.
there are a total of 30 bottles.
I'm trying to think of how many is a reasonable amount to be carrying.
I mean, we each get 7.
No,
Keep in mind these are non-magical.
yes,
They
these
are
are
still
just
bottled lightning, however.
glass bottles, and we do not own a black bag of holding. I think I'll take 3. I feel like I can safely keep 3.
I'll follow suit.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
God, I want to
Okay.
pop one right now, but he is not in the mood. I wanted to like be on the balcony and just open one and see how it goes, but
I throw one out the window.
oh my god,
There is a few
there's
moments
people down
of
there.
pure silence. There is the sound of glass breaking. There is the snap of electricity and a yelp. A number of yelps, rather, from down below in the amphitheater.
Sorry.
Yeah, we were right above the amphitheater. Kick ass though. Love this. I love having this.
Let me see if bottled lightning is. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to create the handout. Carry on. Why do I have 2 mysterious notes? Oh, because I never changed that one.
Before we go down and question the prisoner, Arlen, what was the blasted thing you were telling me about?
The what?
He goes onto the balcony to see the flying machine.
Oh, the thingamajig. Yeah, it's big. The
As impressive as
ornithopter.
it is, I don't know that we can make use of that. Certainly don't know how to operate it.
Yeah, I just have this curse of see cool thing, want cool thing.
It's a very cool thing. Like, put a hand on your shoulder and then. I'm actually gonna go back into Endelyn's room and look around some more at the stuff now that things are not as shouty.
Alrighty.
There was a
You
basket.
now have bottled lightning
Ooh, oh,
in
cute.
your.
Oh, 2d6 is not that bad. Okay, all right.
Weirdly, not an AoE, but
It's like a flask of holy water. It's adorable. So there was a table, a wicker basket, a chest, and was it just a table?
Mm.
Okay.
And of course, all the hourglasses on the walls.
How many of them survived getting shattered?
Um, Probably about 75% of them. The
Fair
marionettes
enough.
were mostly on the ceiling, so it was easier to hit the marionettes than the hourglasses. Like, let me rephrase it, without hitting the hourglasses, because they were,
hmm
you know, target the center of the room, you miss the walls because it's not a big enough uh, blast radius.
Yeah. I'll check this basket first.
The basket is an oval shaped wicker basket with a blanket made of incredibly soft light blue yarn that is embroidered with the word glow. Surrounding it are uh, three tiny stuffed birds that look like maybe they were canaries at one point, although various bits of the birds have been replaced with bits from other birds. And then there are three clockwork birds with little keys sticking out of the back.
Hmm. I'll set Gloam back into their bed, and then look at the chest.
The chest is locked. Much like the other chests you have seen, it is a wooden chest with clawed dragonish, well, reptile. I mean, clawed feet, like on an orb type deal.
Mhm.
Uh,
Court, I need your nimble fingers and clever brain.
He wiggles his gloved hands.
Do you mind? I have a lock here that needs to be resolved.
What's my attribute? Oh,
Dexterity.
Dex.
you would think I would know. No can fucking do.
Oh no.
The lock does resist your attempts to break in.
I want to use my lantern to let you re-roll that.
Wahoo!
Yep. The tumblers pop open. The flame of Arlen's lantern suffusing your lockpicks. Inside is a there are 8 dark green bottles of what is almost certainly wine. These are wine bottles. Each one has a gold leaf label with a name written in Elvish. There is a black satin bag containing very odd art object of bedpost knobs in solid gold. And definitely, most noticeably, and also most creepily, there is a shriveled hand, long, very slender fingers, the now papery skin, a very drab gray. Wow. Okay. Drab gray, but on its third finger there is a gold band with a number of very opalesque stones that are perhaps more fiery than a stand. Well, I guess fire opals are a thing. So fire opals, and clutched in this mummified hand are a number of pieces of parchment rolled up, tied with a green ribbon, the title of which is also in uh, the the same s- the same flowing and stylish elven script that you have seen from Endelin's own writing desk, but unfortunately is in Elvish, which Gleam is happy to translate as "The Agonies of Alagarthas, a 3-act tragedy by Endelin Moongrave." That is all that is written.
I take them. I put them in the middle of the floor, and I
Uh,
cast create bonfire.
the pages go. Are you burning the hand or just the pages?
Mostly just the pages.
Okay.
I told her she wasn't going to be remembered.
Yeah, and certainly no one will ever get to read the manuscript that only ever had a title, as the bits of parchment flake away and turn to ash. As much as I want to get to the next bit, there is your conversation with Charmaine. There are still bits of Motherhorn that are unexplored if you care enough, which would all certainly run well past our usual stop time. So I think here is a good stopping point. The hag Endelin Moongrave is gone. Hemlock, you can feel well, I guess you don't, but were you were you still required to eat, the strangest craving for bacon or roast or something, but you don't eat, so
Meat.
as far as you're concerned, nothing has changed,
Yeah.
other than the sounds have stopped. The show, the play that was being performed in the back of your consciousness has come to its end. Uh, the sisters have been reunited and are relatively safe. No pun intended on relatively. Uh, you have your prisoner, and we can get to all of that next week.
Yay.